Hey guys, Dave Cunningham here, and today we're going to be looking into nutrition for hard gainers. Roll the intro. Okay, so there's a few things that I want to talk about and look at coming from personal experience. First of all, for those of you that are only just following my journey, I started off my training when I was about 16, and I was built like an absolute twig. I'll pop the picture up here when I was about maybe 8 stone. So yeah, as you can see, I'm your typical hard gainer, very skinny, very lanky. So yeah, I was one of those proper ectomorphic guys. Really struggled to gain any kind of weight. I was quite athletic though, so that served me well for my training later on. So the first thing when it comes to hard gainers, first thing you need to look at is first of all, A, how old are you, and B, how long have you been training? So if you're a young guy, 16 to kind of 20 years old, chances are you're probably still growing. Okay, so your metabolism will naturally be a little bit higher, or in some cases quite a lot higher than some of the older guys that you've seen in the gym that have maybe been training 10 to 15 years. So when you look at them and you think about the size that they are, first of all, you've got to look at their length of training. So if you've been training, I'd say let's kind of within the first couple of years, when you first start training, you will see quite decent results because you'll naturally be having a higher surge in testosterone, and your body will naturally want to try to recover faster as the natural process of training. But if you're still a young guy in your teens, early 20s, and you've only been training a short while, let nature take its course. This isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. This takes years. It's taken me a good solid 13 years of training from when I was about 8 stone in that picture to sitting around, naturally between around 14 to 14 and a half stone. So yeah, it's taken me, nearly a decade and a half to put on 6 stone, 6.5 stone of quality muscle. So it takes a while. So look at your age. If you're someone that's been training a little bit longer, you've kind of been training I'd say 5 years plus. Okay, and you're a little bit older. Then that's when you'd need to start to look and focus a little bit more on kind of the nutrition side of things. But we'll move to that in a second. So as far as the young guys are concerned, if you are still in that growing phase, you're kind of, mid, late teens, early 20s, focus on your developing. If you can't quite grow and develop your physique, grow your knowledge and develop your work ethic in the gym. Don't skip leg day. Don't shy away from the heavy compound movements. Train hard, train smart. That will serve you a greater purpose for when your body does start to kind of settle, and then your body does start to generate a bit of muscle. Okay, so second of all, are you maximizing your diet? Now, just because you're a hard gainer doesn't mean that you can eat everything in sight, and because you're not gaining muscle, that's your excuse for not gaining muscle. It's not quite the case. The amount of times I look at people's diet plans and they say, I'm eating well and it's not quite working. And I'll look at the structure of their diet plan over the space of a couple of weeks, and there's not really a level of consistency. Not that they're eating, particularly terrible, but it's just the body likes consistency, and it's a great way to monitor progress and, track how you're doing in regards to, have you plateaued in your strength or in your weight? Or, are you going in the right direction that you want, and are you making the progressions that you want? So really have a look at your diet. Is it consistent? And also, when you think a lot of active guys are kind of, their, calorie intake, is normally kind of in the maybe 3,500 range. You've got the average, or the standard average diet, for women is 2,000 calories, men is 2,500 calories. That's just on a general kind of general basis. Your average 9 to 5 worker who may exercise a couple of times a week. If you're hitting the gym 4 to 5 times a week and you're training hard, you're getting a bit of cardio in there, that's when you need to look at your calorie intake, because your calorie expenditure will be higher. So therefore your calorie intake would need to be higher. So for the hard gainers, that's when you would need to be looking, a little bit more north towards anywhere between the 4 to 5,000 calorie range, even as high as 6,000 calories, depending on, how your body responds. So, you'd want to be having anywhere between 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. For the hard gainers, I'd say kind of anywhere between, 0.45 to 0.5 grams of fat per pound of body weight. And carbohydrates, easily starting off on 2 grams per pound of body weight, maybe even 2.5, depending on, really how lean you are and really how much of a hard gainer you are. Okay. Also, how are you training? Look at how you are training. Are you training hard enough to warrant the growth that you're after? A lot of guys, claim to go beast mode in the gym, but quite frankly, they just go to the gym. They go in, or they might do one hard set on their last set, might throw in a drop set. Really have a look at how you're training. Are you actually doing enough in the gym, to warrant a response to cause your body to grow? Are you really getting in those compound movements? Are you really focusing on your rep tempo, volume? Really look at how it is, rather than are you just going in and picking up the weights, which is good. You're getting in there, you're putting your time in, but you could be really focusing your time a lot more effectively if you actually have a solid structure and look at progressive overload over time. So if you started training and you were benching, let's say 60 kilos, and a year later, you're still benching 60 kilos, you need to take a little bit more of a scientific approach to your training and really focus on, gaining strength, because the stronger you are, the more control that you'll have over the weights, which will enable you to lift more, lift smarter, and really tap into that reserve that will really, force the body to want to, grow, added muscle tissue, accompanied with the good diet. So going back to the diet, how are you eating, accompanied with how are you training? The two kind of go hand in hand. A little bit like love and marriage, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But you really got to look at that and see, are the two coupled together working? Also, are you resting? How are you resting? If you're one of the young guys that I see in the gym, they're talking about what they did at the weekend, what pubs and clubs they went to, how much they drank, how late they stayed up, how little sleep they got. That's not optimal for, growing, for gaining. You need to, train like a beast and rest like a baby. You really need to, look at, it is quite good when you look at babies, how they grow. They grow exceedingly fast. When you think about from ages like 1 to 5, whereas when you think from when you're 25 to 30, you don't really grow as much. So babies get a lot of rest, as when you're looking to grow and develop, you need to as well. So, really think, am I getting enough sleep? And am I burning the candle at both ends? Because don't get me wrong, have a social life, have fun, but what's more important and where do your priorities lie? Last of all, supplements. What kind of supplements are you taking? Are they, are they working with you in your goals? Like, for instance, if you're looking to bulk, are you taking something like a fat burner because you do still want to stay lean? It's pointless. A lot of people ask me, they say, what kind of what supplements should I be taking? And I just say, what are you deficient in? It's a simple, easy answer when you look at it. Are you eating a lot of red meat or a decent amount of red meat? If not, supplement with a creatine monohydrate. Are you getting enough fatty acids in your diet? If not, supplement with some sort of fish oils. You know, also have a look at kind of joint care supplements as well. They're always good, especially for when you're trying to, you know, throw in those heavy compound movements. If you're naturally leaner, you're not going to have as much padding around the joints. They're going to be, you know, a lot leaner. So you're not going to have as much protection around it. So look at a joint care supplement. And then when it comes to mass gainers, a lot of people ask me, what's your view on mass gainers? And that's kind of down to the individual. Myself personally, I've never had a problem with eating. For me, the more the better. You know, I'm practically a fat kid trapped in this body. But I know there's a lot of guys who they're not a big fan of breakfast. They struggle to eat. They're just naturally not big eaters. So in cases like that, if you are finding yourself struggling to get those calories in regards to mass gainers, yes and no. Yes, you know, maybe try a mass gainer, but no, not your generic branded supplement. I would look at making your own, just simply because you find a lot of mass gainers, they tend to be quite high in sugars, you know, quite high in simple carbs, and not really, you know, a blend of what you would necessarily need to grow per se. So that's when I would say look at making your own. First of all, it's cheaper. Second of all, you have a lot more say of what goes into it. So let's say you spend 50, 60 quid on a mass gainer and you take it and you think it tastes like crap. You know, you've just wasted 50, 60 quid. So if you buy yourself, you know, a general whey isolate, something like a vanilla, which is, you know, quite a generic flavor, that's when you can put stuff like oats in there, berries, seeds, nuts, oils, that kind of stuff, just to help bump the calories up a little bit. And if you find that you're not getting on with that one as much, that's okay. You can have a look at the serving sizes and, you know, play around with a couple and, you know, after reevaluating, see what works better for you in that regard. So yeah, I don't always recommend you drink your calories. However, if you're somebody who does struggle to eat, you know, you naturally have quite a small appetite and you're a hard gainer, you know, alongside it, then that's something that you would want to look at. So yeah, just to round up, you know, how long have you been training, you know, and also, you know, how old are you, you know, are you still growing, you know, like through puberty or the back end of puberty, and, you know, have you been training long enough, you know, to realize that you are actually a hard gainer, and that you just hit a plateau, you know, in which case look at developing your work ethic and your nutrition, okay, and maximize your diet, look at your training, making sure you're getting smart rather than just getting it done, and also getting that rest in there as well, along with the adequate supplementation that you are deficient in. Okay, so that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, anything you guys want to hear about, give me a shout on Facebook, Dave Cunningham Fitness, Twitter at DaveC_fitness, or Instagram at Dave_Cunningham_WBFF Pro. Thank you so much for watching and take care. It's never too late.